Tom Curran, Comcast Sportsnet New England, and we figured Tom might have an opinion or two on this one. Your reaction to the Wells report was what, Tom?
What a bad job. What an absolute farce. No, here's the thing. If you take out the text messages, absolutely everything in that report, you can exercise plausible deniability. You can say, look, there's a preconceived conclusion that is trying to be reached here by Ted Wells. And I found most interesting, one of the most interesting things I found was footnote number 25 on page 46, where it says there was no sting, there was never a sting, and there was conclusively no sting, definitely not a sting. That's written by the independent investigator, who, of course, was hired by the NFL. It sounds as if something that would have been dictated by Roger Goodell. It's a defense of the NFL's pursuit, and it is, in my estimation, a foregone conclusion that they tried to fit the facts to. I just realized that the only person who wasn't with the Colts, Patriots, stadium staff, or officiating staff they talked to were two guys from the Ravens. That's it. Why the Ravens? So everything could be easily dismissed, Dan, if it wasn't for the word needle and deflator and the level of nervousness that Yastrzemski expressed in a text message to Brady after he was questioned initially.
What do you think Brady knew?
What do I think he knew?
Yeah.
I think he knew something might have happened on the footballs. And, and I can only base that on what the two individuals texted each other about. That I'll put it this way, he had a concern about the ball pressure and of the footballs when they got to him. And he anticipated and expected Yastrzemski and McNally to make sure that they were close to 12.5 as McNally stood in the officiating room on the day of the AFC Championship game and reminded them, we want them near 12.5, we want them near 12.5. I don't think he knew anything more than that, nor will it ever be able to be extracted as to how they got to 12.5, but that's what he wanted, 12.5.
What would you do if you're Brady right now?
I think I would come out and initially say, if you want to cast aspersions on me for not releasing my cell phone and emails, why don't you explain to me what the relevance is of John Yastrzemski having a ball autographed by me and talking to his mom about it being released? Because there are so many gratuitous, irrelevant, and designed to embarrass tidbits in the text messages that it again leads you to believe that it would cast aspersions on the investigation as a whole. Again, the balls went missing before the game for an unprecedented amount of time, according to the officials. There's a hell of a lot of text messages that talk about a guy calling himself the deflator and talking about a needle, and there being talk about Brady being sympathetic to the amount of time he had to get things done. That's all pretty damning. But if you're Brady right now, you turn your attention to the foregone conclusion that the Wells report seemed to be after in terms of satisfying.
But why would the league want to catch Tom Brady? To me, it doesn't make any sense. You don't want that to happen.
Sure. I think that in a vacuum, if you were dealing with sensible people, you would say that. However, there is a level of arrogance that, Dan, you and I both know the Patriots are well regarded as being in possession of. There is a level of frustration with Bill Belichick from the league. There is the perception that they get away with things, and there is a condescension that the organization has towards other teams. Additionally, there are other member teams, whether it be the Ravens, the Colts, the Steelers, the Broncos, who are rivals, and the Jets, for instance. And those teams have an axe to grind. This started with Sean Sullivan, the equipment manager of the Colts, citing unspecified chatter around the league and sending an email that said, It's well known around the league that the Patriots relieve balls of air pressure after the officials do it. There were axes to grind here. And in getting those axes ground, the NFL, in turn, does sully the reputation of its perhaps biggest star.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. And plus, the old NFL, prior commissioners would have swooped in, called Belichick and or Kraft and or Brady and said, this is what we're hearing. Knock it out. Knock it off here. If we find that you're doing it, we're going to come down really hard on you. That's what
Yep.
Pete Rozelle would have done that. Tagliabue would have done that. Now, they say it's not a sting operation. It feels a little bit more. It feels a little bit like that, but I thought that they could have circumvented this and it would have gone away.
Yeah, and not only did they not do that, but they now, over the course of a 243-pound investigation and months of review, and it has to be multi-million dollars.
$5 million.
On this.
$5 million.
That's the first time I heard that.
Yeah.
Holy crap. The $5 million spent to besmirch the team that just won the Super Bowl. I mean, that doesn't help the quote-unquote brand, the Shield, or any of it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and ferret out the truth if somebody is, obviously doing something really, really nefarious. But is this really, really nefarious?
Can you be, if you're in Boston, in New England, can you be 100% objective?
Yeah, you can.
Will the me? I thought Shaughnessy came out in the Boston Globe and said, hey, Tom's going to have to deal with the rest of his career. His legacy is stained.
Yeah, well, Shaughnessy's like that bumper sticker on the back of every Ford peeing on a Chevy logo for every Boston team. That's Shaughnessy. I think if you look at this objectively, as I have tried to do, you see that those text messages and the notion that there was something going on with footballs is almost inescapable. But you also see that the NFL had, I don't want to say witch hunt, but they had they fit the interviews and the facts to a narrative that they wanted to pursue, in my estimation. And really, it was just somebody here who in Boston, of course, who mentioned, hey, the only people they talk to are Ravens people. Well, it's a good point.
I just don't see it fitting a narrative that they wanted to do a gotcha on the Patriots. I can't imagine. I know you spent a lot of money, spent a lot of time, and you had to have something at the very end, but I just don't think that they would want to do this to the Patriots and Tom Brady.
You know that Roger Goodell is a former Jets intern?
Well, he wouldn't have fined them $100,000 for tampering with Darrelle Revis, if that were the case. And he would have helped.
$100,000. You're looking at that as something that's really penal. Penal?
Well, it's not the actual amount as much as they tampered with Darrelle Revis. And you know what? If the commissioner is a Jets fan, he would have helped them get a better quarterback, Tom.
Well, that's another good point by you.
All right. Are these guys still employed by the Patriots, the equipment guy and the ball boy?
The whispers are that one is definitely on his way out, that being McNally. And there's information within there that, and that's just whispers that I've now announced to the nation.
Well, say it. Do it in a whispery voice.
I don't think that they're both going to be there. Yastrzemski within that also alludes to he's going to get the kicks, meaning the cleats or shoes or whatever, for McNally once Dave Schoenfeld leaves the equipment room. So that's not going to look too awesome either. Again, if you're Brady, why would you turn your phone over if they're going to go through it and just not only look for the deflating stuff, but other stuff that's going to cost you a damn job?
Tommy, I wouldn't have turned my phone over if I'm Brady.
Well, I know you wouldn't.
No, but there could be, stuff that's taken out of context. He may have joked about the commissioner and this investigation. I mean, who knows what's in there?
Right.
I wouldn't do that. That doesn't mean he's guilty, but I wouldn't have turned over my phone. But okay, that Thursday night when I see you in New England, the quarterback for the New England Patriots opening night against the Steelers will be.
God, why do you do this stuff, Brady?
Do you want to believe it or do you believe it?
It's my default. It's more probable than not probable. How's that?
Thank you, Ted Wells. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, come on down.
That's not completely improbable.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. Have a great day.
Continue your whispering. That's Tom Curran, Comcast Sportsnet New England.